Hey there everyone, welcome to the One Brain Four Wheels channel. It's the Gare Bear here like always. And you might be wondering what the heck is going on to my car behind me. Yes, I'm sitting on the C7 Corvette, and those are two cans of paint sitting on the top of the car, and you can see lots of things masked off and ready to go. What is it that we're doing today? Let's go ahead and talk about it. So no, I'm not spray painting the Corvette, and I'll let you guys know that before I start getting comments below about how dare you spray paint a Corvette, blah, blah, blah. I know better than you. No, but what I am going to do today is do a little Plastidip dip. And before you start shaking your head, I'm not thinking of this as a totally permanent solution for what I want to do, but I have toyed around with going ahead and doing a little paint work on the roof only, or perhaps doing something along the lines of most of the top half of the car. But yeah, if you want an idea of what I was kind of thinking in my head, think Cletus McFarlane's C7 Corvette, where it's the white on the bottom, and then kind of here, and then keeping this line right here going up, that all black. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like that or not, though, because, you know, that black contrasted against the white could look totally different compared to the black contrasting with the Admiral Blue like I have. So I figured, you know, Plastidip, it's really easy to do, I think. I've never really done it, but I've watched lots of videos, and we're going to go ahead and do it today. And it's definitely not permanent, and it's extremely cheap. And it's way cheaper than even getting a wrap, or, you know, more so, getting a paint job done, and then after the fact realizing, you know, hey, I maybe don't like this. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan for today's video anyways, is to go ahead and get this done so I can see how it looks, and then perhaps later on in the year I might go ahead and get actual paint work done, or maybe I'll hate this and then realize, not for me, and I'll just rip it off. Either way, it's not going to really be that difficult, I don't think. I've definitely watched a lot of videos before doing this, though, so that way I can at least try to have a good hope of getting at least a semi-okay result to have around for a little while. I watched ThatDudeinBlue. He did a really good video on one of his friend's cars or something, and that's kind of my idea with the garbage bags here, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, I think, you know, this is just going to be, like I said, it's cheap. This would be great for, you know, anyone that really just doesn't want to invest a lot of money in a modification they're not even sure about yet. And I really don't see a downside of doing this, regardless of what other people might think. So yeah, I think go for it if you can, if you have the time and you think that you can operate, you know, a spray paint can, a rattle can. But yeah, all right, the first thing, like always, is we got to go over our parts list. Let's go ahead and come over here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. So first I have this regular black Plastidip. It's just, that's the regular Plastidip. It's been around for generations and generations. But then what I got was this. Ta-da! Plastidip metalizer. So I have the Admiral Blue color, and it's not really showing up in here so much. You can kind of see it. But Admiral Blue is a metallic flake blue paint. And so what I kind of want to do was, I don't want this boring black on here. I want to add a little bit of metal to it to give it a little sparkle. So I'll go ahead and do the black Plastidip first, and then do a couple coats of the metalizer on top, and it'll kind of, the metal flake, I think, with the black, will kind of tie it in a little bit better to the metal flake in the Admiral Blue, and it'll also tie into all of the carbon flash metallic paint that's on the car. All the black that's on Corvettes pretty much is the carbon flash metallic, so it's just a black with like a metallic. It's a metallic-y black pearl. So I'm kind of thinking that that might tie in nicely with the rest of the car instead of just having like flat black, because that would look pretty shitty and ghetto. And the whole point of this experiment is to get something on the car that's as close as possible, the best representation of what I would do down the road. And I wouldn't do flat black paint on there. I would do like a metallic-y black or something that looks nice. So that's why I went ahead and got the metalizer as well. But anyhow, then the last thing we need is some tape. I'm just using some blue painter's tape because it's what I had left over from repainting the garages. And I forgot that, yeah, you need preferably some garbage bags. I stole that idea from ThatDudeinBlue, like I said earlier. But that's actually a pretty good idea, because instead of having to use paper that might flop around or using a lot of tape, why not just use those to kind of blanket off large areas, and then the tape kind of does the edges a little bit, little finessed areas. But yeah, so we've got all that ready to go. I've taped everything. I guess I can come down here a little bit. So I pretty much just put tape kind of up everywhere where like the paint stopped for the most part, and like I've got the rubber seals down here that I didn't want to get covered. But the best part about Plastidip, and you'll know if you haven't worked with this before, go ahead and watch some videos, and Plastidip even has a YouTube channel. But what's cool about this product, which this is all like new to me because I kind of heard about it before, but I'd never used it. But it's cool because when it dries, you can pretty much just peel it off. So it really doesn't matter where you get it on the car. If you get it somewhere that you don't really want it to be, in the end, as long as you put, I guess, like enough thick coats or whatever, or just enough thin coats, as long as like the overall, when it's dry, it becomes like a thicker layer of a solid rubber, it can just peel right off. So it doesn't matter where you get it because you can just remove it. It's not permanent, and that's what's awesome about this. And that is why we're doing this today. And I think it's going to look okay, but I haven't started yet. So you guys are going to join me on this adventure, this little journey, as I always put it. And hopefully, when we're done with this video, it's going to look good. But regardless, it's going to look completely different. So let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. It says to go ahead and shake well. And I guess this should also be obvious, but just in case it's not, this should be clean already. So I wiped it down right before going ahead and doing this. But yeah, go ahead and shake this can well, and then it says hold the can 6 to 10 inches away from the surface, and just apply, let's see, I'll read the instructions for you guys. Shake it really good, and then apply heavy enough to produce an even wet appearance. So let's try it out. There we go. Already pre-shook this. Okay. Oh, this is... Okay, so yeah, first thoughts, I'm thinking definitely hold the can as far away from the surface you're painting as possible. I think I can already tell that that's giving me a better look just from the very first part that I started. So I would definitely take that recommendation. Alright, so first coat done. So it says on the can to let about 30 minutes in between each coat, but pretty much I think you want each coat to be fairly dry before you start the next one, which makes sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and see really just how many coats it takes to get solid black. We don't want to see any Admiral Blue peeking through. That'd look kind of not that good. But yeah, so I'll just keep going along with this, and I'll see you guys at the other end. Alright, I was patient and I waited a whole half hour. So here's what it looks like with the one coat. You can kind of see a little bit of black. It's kind of, you don't really see black, you just see that the blue is kind of covered with something. But that's the first coat, and let's go ahead and take a look at the second coat. And coat 2 done. You can see already it's looking a lot darker. It still looks bluish, but with a more kind of a blackish hue coming out of the blue. But yeah, so probably going to take, I'm thinking a total of 4 coats perhaps. But we'll go ahead and see. I'm just going to skip to me being done painting it. I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like with all the black down and how many coats that took. And then we'll go ahead and start with the metalizer. Yeah, already I'm thinking I'm going to like the way it's going to turn out. Let's go ahead and looking at it with the light kind of shining across it. And you can see, you know, it's not, you know, a glass smooth finish or anything. But it definitely is still, it's a lot smoother than I thought it would be, considering you're shooting rubber out of a can. So I'm already having high hopes for this. You know, we'll see what it actually looks like, you know, at the very end. But so far I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think more people need to know about Plastidip. And I think, you know, if it turns out as good as I'm thinking it's going to be, I think it's gotten a bad rap. Because a lot of people think of it as kind of a lowbrow kind of thing to do to your car. But I think this could be pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty excited. But let's just keep going with it and keep our fingers crossed. So I'm not even gonna lie, I was just so excited about how this was gonna turn out, I completely forgot to take a video of what it looked like with all of the base coats of the black Plastidip, and just went straight on through and actually did the metalizer on top. So here is kind of a finished product. This is actually the next day. I just woke up. So kind of, I don't know if I really have any bed hair because it's short enough. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. It looks pretty good. Just kind of go over everything. I ended up doing, I think, I would call it 5 coats of the black Plastidip. So what I did was, you saw in the beginning, I did a really thin coat, and I did that a couple times, and I noticed that with so many thin coats, it still wasn't really completely coating the top of the car there. When I look at it at like a different angle and stuff, I could see the shine of my paint still, so it wasn't a thick enough coat. And if you don't make the stuff thick enough, it's going to be a real pain in the butt to actually peel it off. So the last couple coats that I did, I put it on a lot thicker, and then it was still dry within like 30 minutes, and then I added the rest of the coats. So I did like a total of 5 or 6 coats, I guess. I can't really remember. But it was quite a few coats, with the first few being very light, and then progressively getting thicker and thicker as I went along, because I was still learning how to work with this stuff. And then once the last coat dried, I let that dry for about a half hour. I did one really light coat of the metalizer, and then I kind of finished it up with one extra thick coat, with about 15 minutes in between those 2 coats. But anyhow, as you guys can see, after it's all dry, this looks pretty good. But yeah, when you go ahead and come up to it, you can tell it's not normal, it's not like paint or anything. It doesn't have like a shine to it. You can kind of see it's like a matte finish, and when you touch it, it feels kind of grippy like rubber. But I do want to point out that while it's not like smooth like paint or anything, obviously, it overall, like, you know, like it's kind of like orange peely in a way, I guess is a good way to describe it, where, you know, it's not like smooth or anything, but it's not rough. And I really want to point that out. This looks like, I don't know what you could exactly describe this as, but I guess what I want to point out is that it's not smooth like paint, but it also doesn't look like shit. That's really the biggest thing I'm trying to get at. We'll kind of shine it here in the light, and there we go, you guys can see this. It's actually really smooth. I'm very happy with the way that came out. Yeah, I think this was pretty good for my first Plastidip job. I don't really see any chunks of rubber that kind of flew out of the can or anything. It came out very smooth, and I'm very happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and take off all the plastic and the tape, and kind of maybe clean it up a little bit. And you guys can see there's some overspray of stuff all over my windows and on the paint and stuff. But with some soap and water and a little rag or something, that's going to come right off. And also, I guess one little plus for me was, before I did this, I cleaned off the top, but the rest of the car has a little layer of dirt and stuff. So it's going to make cleaning up all that overspray even easier, because it's not really even stuck to the car, it's stuck to the filth on the car. But yeah, let me go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll come back. I found one imperfection. So if you look down here, yeah, right there, you can kind of see it. When I was doing the metalizer yesterday, I kind of noticed I got a little bit close in one spot, wasn't moving it quick enough. I kind of thought that would just dry and go away, but as you can see, that did stay. Kind of a small spot, since I'm not keeping this forever. I'm not really that worried about it. But yeah, that is one little thing. You can see it on the passenger side. It doesn't look too great, but it's okay. it's Plastidip. It's temporary. Also, I just wanted to show you guys really quick that if you get overspray, it's really not that big of a deal. It comes right off. So here it is on the window. And if you just take your thumb, you can kind of see me. See, that's just going right away. So yeah, soap and water. It'll do the trick, and it's not really a big deal. That's why this stuff is pretty freaking awesome. Ta-da! Yeah, so you can see I didn't even clean off the windows yet or anything. I'm pretty stoked about how this turned out, and I just wanted to go ahead and look at it first. But yeah, this looks awesome. I really like the way, so you guys can see, like, I've got the black accent there, but just the windshield is like dark, and then it goes right into the black roof. That looks really cool. I'm not sure how I like this blue strip here. I think that kind of, that doesn't look too great. I'm not really a big fan of the way that looks. But anyhow, that looks really awesome. I'm super excited about how this Plastidip turned out. I can't believe how cheap this stuff is. I think each can was like $6 for the metalizer and for the black, which is a total bargain. I don't know why people don't do this more often. This is awesome. This was super easy to do. I'm thrilled and shocked at how well this turned out, especially for my first time doing it. This is super easy, cheap. It's a fun little project, and it lets you kind of play around with your car a little bit without having any consequences. Unless it doesn't peel off, and I'll cover that video if it for some reason happens, but I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, so I hope you guys like the way the car turned out. I really do. Leave comments below if you guys like it or not, or what you would do. And let me know what you guys think about the paint job in general, as far as my ideas about having the top half go black, or maybe doing some black on the roof. Not exactly sure where I want to go with this yet. That's kind of why I did this, so I can kind of live with it for a little while and see what I like, what I don't like, and what I might want to do more of. But anyhow, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, or if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel One Brain Four Wheels, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at GareBearVillegas like always. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and look at how beautiful this turned out. Really awesome. I'm liking Plastidip. Okay, so fast forward 2 weeks, and I'm definitely still loving the Plastidip. I think definitely also in the future, I do want to go ahead and paint the top of the car black. Still not decided if I want to do the whole top black or just the actual targa top itself black. You know, I'm very undecisive, and I probably won't decide until the day I actually bring it in to get it done. But that's going to be way in the future. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But today I'm going to go ahead and remove the Plastidip now, because I do actually have this car rented out on Turo, and the people are picking it up this afternoon, which means I need to wash it. I need to get that crap off. So let's go ahead and just kind of take that off real quick and see how hard it's going to be. Okay, correction, it's not crap, but I do need to take it off nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use an old little ID card thing I have, and I need to go ahead and get a good starting point to get this stuff off. But yeah, essentially I'm just trying to scrape off enough of it on an edge so that way I can kind of get started trying to pull this stuff up. And yeah, using a plastic card so that you're not really going to damage the paint or anything. You can kind of see some blue already showing through. And this part right here, trying to take it off, this is why it's very important when we were actually spraying this on, why you want to do a lot of coats, because the thicker this stuff is, the easier it's going to be to remove. So, sorry, I just realized the white balance is crap. But, yeah, so we kind of see that going up. And so now we've got a little bit of a starting point. You can kind of see the blue there. Sorry, it's not really focusing, but yeah. So now I'm going to try to go ahead and, oh yeah, there we go. See, you see the bits of it kind of coming up now? There we go. That's a nice little, that's a good amount. Kind of use my fingers to rub off some of the little bits that are kind of left off, but now you can already see a big chunk ready to go. So I went ahead and started peeling it off the passenger side as well, just like I did on the driver's side. And now I'm going to go ahead and just start pulling up on it, and this should come off super easy and really just not be much of an issue. Let's go ahead and try. Ooh, kind of neat. Also work on the edges a little bit, but the middle, you know, big flat sections are coming off really easy. And then like the edges, like this edge I already cleaned up. It was at the little bit like where it was like thin where I tapered off. I just rub my finger and it comes right off.
Nice.
Yeah, that's worked out really good. It's like, it feels like peeling sunburn. Boom. So yeah, the Plastidip overall was extremely easy to apply and it was extremely easy to remove, which is really important to me because you don't want to mess up your nice car, right? And even if you have like kind of a clunky little, car if you're in high school or something, you don't want to mess it up or make it worse. But yeah, definitely, I'm a fan of Plastidip and I will be using it more in the future for sure. Probably see it on the Suburban, I think. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, so that's my review of the Plastidip, I guess, and kind of that was my modification for the Corvette. A very temporary one, but it was good to allow me to see kind of what I might want to do to the Corvette in the future, something more permanent. But anyhow, I want to say once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.